Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, everyone, to a new update on the stock market, the economic policies, and tariff situation on my channel, Small Talk. First thing first, I want to talk about tariffs. Donald Trump has just announced blanket tariffs to 26 countries being imposed on August 1st anywhere between 10% to 40%. So it depends what country you are. I know you probably already know that China, he has imposed 50% tariffs, and it could go even higher. He also threatened some of the countries to impose higher tariff on imports, for example, India, China, and some of the European countries. Also, Trump has threatened to fire Jerome Powell ASAP and replace him with someone who will cut the rates immediately. We know that the job reports that we got for June, it showed it showed a stronger job market, and unemployment is ticking down. These factors point to a lower likelihood of July rate cuts, as Jerome Powell had said that July rate cuts are not off the table, but of course he was data dependent, and these job reports that we received in June, it does show that the labor market remains strong and unemployment is ticking down, and of course that kind of lowers the 25 basis point rate cuts in July even lower, because there's only 25% chance of getting a July rate cut. But with these job reports coming stronger, it kind of even lowers more. I think the market is pricing in September rate cut, which is more reasonable. However, I personally think that Jerome Powell is at least 3 to 4 rate cuts behind, just because he's being stubborn. And he's not totally wrong either. He needs to keep his credibility high, because if he lowers the rates and then something happens and the reports come bad, and then he has to pause the rate cut or hike the rate, then he loses the credibility. Not that people trust the Fed now, but then they don't trust them even more. So that's why he is taking his time this time to kind of make sure that all the data that he's getting shows that our economy is ready for a rate cut. I personally think, by looking at the job reports, by looking at the CPI and PPI report, I feel like Jerome Powell is about 3 to 4 rate cuts behind as is, and that's probably why it's kind of making Trump very angry, and he wants to replace him as soon as possible so he can find someone who will listen to Trump and cut the rates immediately as he wants them to. Donald Trump had sent letters to 12 countries, and he plans on sending more letters to 24 more countries about tariffs. And basically, they all say the same thing, that we need to work on economic equality. Your imports need to be tariffed at higher rate than what they are now. Some countries do pay very little to no tariffs whatsoever, and he wants to increase the tariffs so he can get some revenue. He's of the mindset that these tariffs will bring in the revenue into the country, and it will help our economy become stronger. However, he doesn't realize that if he puts so many tariffs on all these imports, we're not equipped and ready to start production in this country right now. It will take us at least 5 to 7 years between you and I. Don't tell anyone. It will take us between 5 to 7 years to be able to ready and produce all those consumer goods that are being produced across the globe in the US. We don't have the facilities, the production facilities, we don't have the labor, and we don't have the funds to do it right now. He also made a statement about Elon Musk and Tesla, and he been bashing, well, first Elon Musk bashed him, obviously. He told him that he has been covering up for Jeffrey Epstein in pedophilia cases, and maybe he was personally involved and he's a pedophile himself. As a result, Donald Trump obviously lashed back, and he said he's getting 25% subsidy more than any other human being in the history of this country, and he is going to take that away, and he's going to send him back to South Africa where he came from and shut down his shop. So this bickering has been going on for a long time, and finally Elon Musk has announced that he is going to start his own political party, which he actually did, and it's called America's Party. And it's kind of funny because I don't think Elon Musk has the political muscle to pull this party um, off. He has the financial strength. He can pour lots of money into it, but Democrats don't like it, Republicans don't like it, and for him to go against Donald Trump, he has ruined his reputation, not to mention the shareholders and the boards of his companies. They are not in agreement with him taking part into the politics. The investors and shareholders had a sigh of relief when he separated himself from White House and Doge. And now that he is going on a bigger venture in politics, everybody is very upset and they're backlashing again because they just want him to focus on his company, which is Tesla, XAI, and all that other companies that he has started. And they want to make sure that he is present CEO in those companies so that they can their investments are secure and safe. Recently, Dan Ives, the biggest bull on the Wall Street of Wedbush on Tesla, made a comment. He actually made a statement to his investors, and he said that it's time the board members get together and they lay down a structure foundation for Elon Musk, what their expectations are and what they expect from him as a CEO of the company. And they need to hold him accountable to and question him what his how far he's willing to going to go into the politics. And as a result, Elon Musk made a very brief statement on his on X, and he said, "Shut up, Dan," which Dan did not react to. He said, "Well, that's his opinion, and he has the right to hold his opinion." He still is very bullish on Tesla, and he still thinks that this is going to be the stock price is going to be double from where it is now. Earlier, he said within 10 days after the robotaxi came out, but then obviously there was a pullback on Tesla shares after Elon announced that he is going to take part into this new political party that he's established. Now, yesterday, Elon Musk has announced that he is going to that Grok AI is to be available in Tesla vehicles next week. Musk's AI startup XAI launched Grok 4, its latest flagship AI model, on Wednesday, while Musk had earlier said Tesla vehicle will be equipped with Grok AI. He had not shared a timeline, but then yesterday he gave the timeline that this is going to be available starting next week. Tesla has also finally announced the date of its annual meeting. After dozens of angry shareholders and investors have asked what was taking so long, letters were sent by shareholders to Elon Musk and to Tesla to announce an annual meeting date, and Tesla did just that. The annual meeting is scheduled for November 6th, but the problem is this date is 4 months beyond the legal deadline. And Texas, where the Tesla as a company is incorporated, their law is that you have to hold an annual meeting within every 13 months. Elon also announced that Tesla's robotaxis expansion is coming this weekend. After the first robotaxi rollout, Elon has been quiet for a while, and then with his announcement getting involved into the politics again, there was a huge pullback and lashback on Tesla and Elon Musk as well. But now he said that he is going to have an expanded version, rather he's going to have expanding ride-hailing services to a larger service area in Austin, Texas. Before they had a little fenced service area where they tested their robotaxi, but now they're going to have a larger service area where they're going to have their robotaxis tested. In addition, Musk added that Tesla plans to have robotaxi Model Y vehicle on the road in the Bay Area of California very soon. We already know that he was planning to have these roll out in Austin, Texas, and California, but California was delayed for a little bit longer. And now he said that he's going to have his Model Y roll out in Bay Area of California as well. Um, Also, Donald Trump has made a statement that he is going to send more military aid to Ukraine, and everybody is very upset with Donald Trump because when he became the president, he said he is going to end the war. The next day he becomes the president. That war did not end, and then for a while he's been playing that he's not going to help Ukraine with more military aid. He was trying to bash Ukrainian prime minister, and he was also and then Putin was obviously pumping him left and right, saying, well, Donald Trump is the best president, and if he was here, this war wouldn't have started. But then in the background, he's still going and doing what he's not supposed to do. And I think Donald Trump is buying that now because he is looking beyond his satisfied ego. Before, Putin was obviously pumping him and pumping his ego, but now he realized that he's being played. So that's why he decided to send more military aid to Ukraine. But this makes taxpayers and American public very unhappy, including myself, because he won the election on the promise that he is going to end the war, and he's not going to take part into anybody's war, no matter what it is. But rather, he's going and escalating the situation by providing the military aid, whether it be Israel, whether it be Ukraine. So he's not ending the war, he's escalating the situation, which is going to use our economy is already under pressure. It's going to have more burden and pressure on our economy because we're using trillions of dollars, we're wasting trillions of dollars rather, by jumping into somebody else's business, which we don't have to. So that's the update. Oh, also I want to talk about Bitcoin and Uber. We all know that Bitcoin has reached its all-time high, a little over $113,000. I think the next stop is $118,000, and then maybe 125 to 175. And as I have predicted before in my previous videos, there's a very well chance that it could go over $200,000 by the end of this year. Uber, on the other hand, has been flying lately, and rightfully so, because Uber has announced their integration with Pony AI, where they're going to have AI incorporated into their ride hailing. They're going to have a fleet of at least 1,000 cars, which are going to be driverless, or FSDs being added into their fleet. Also, they asked for this. The founder of Uber to fund the company to start new FSDs or robotaxis for Uber. Those talks are still going on. Also, Uber has raised their fare and they have lowered their wages, which is going to help them in the short term. And the big beautiful bill, the tip income being non-taxable now, is going to help Uber with their revenue, with the revenue, because now they don't have to pay the tax on the tips that they're receiving, and they could save that much money. I think I was reading, if I remember it correctly, I think $5 billion or $50 billion. Just fact check me on that they're going to save annually by not paying tax on that tip that the Uber drivers receive. Also, them having a non-FSD fleet added to their to their fleet. I think they're going to do away lots of trouble they're facing because of these drivers driving the taxi. There are so many news that come up because of the drivers harassing someone, the drivers not doing their job the right way, or drivers, doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. Ultimately, it affects Uber's reputation. But by them having FSD in their fleet, I think that's going to eliminate so many of those problems. Also, they're going to have AI incorporated into their business model, and this is the era of AI. AI is not one of those sci-fi movie fiction anymore. It is a reality and is happening now. Palantir and NVIDIA I know I don't have to say much about it. You all know the story. Nvidia has hit $4 trillion market cap as we speak today, actually as of yesterday, and it's still going. Excuse me. And it's still going. Palantir, Dan Ives of Wedbush thinks that Palantir is going to double from this point onward. I forgot what the time frame he gave, but even whatever it is, Palantir has been growing pretty fast, and it has been the stock has been just going parabolic. If it doubles within a year or 6 months, I think that's still a whole lot of money that you can make from Palantir. Uber's price target was raised to $120 from $98. So the price target for Uber is anywhere between $98 to $120. And I think they're going to revise it even more once they have their second quarter earning calls, and also once they make the announcements and some of the deals that they're trying to close. And once they're finalized, I think Uber price target will be raised again. Some of the analysts of the market at the market are of the opinion that Uber can grow another 30 to 40% within a short period of time. So, which means even you buy it now at this high price, you still have a margin to go 30 or 40% profit by the end of the year or by early next year. If you watch my video regularly, when the stock was $82, I said it then that today is the right day to buy the stock. And the next morning, the stock started running, and it has been running since then. And it touched its all-time high, which was a little over $97. So that's the market update. Everybody is very bullish. We're back into 2021 market that we had then, because the market was going crazy and parabolic and people made lots of money. Everybody was a genius at the time, and it seems like everybody is genius now as well, because we're in the same stock market that we were 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And I remember making thousands of dollars within a fraction of minutes, because I was buying lots of small cap stocks, and when they run crazy, and they could make you lots of money. But they're very high risk, high reward, so you have to be very careful how you trade them. But even the larger cap and the Mega 7 are doing pretty well. Apple has been doing great, but people are downgrading Apple a little bit now because they're a little upset that they have not worked on their AI. It's like the whole world and whole Wall Street, all the companies are trying to explore what they can do with the AI, whereas Apple has been sitting just on the sidelines, sipping on their lemonade, and they think it's time for them to get on the treadmill and start. They still have time, but they're a little behind. So if they get on the treadmill and they start running, they'll probably catch up to everyone. But this is time that they need to start thinking about it and change their business model a little bit. So I never invested in Apple. Apple is a great company. The people who did invest, congratulations, you have made lots of money. It went 140%. It's a lot. Since Tim Cook took over, the stock has grown, I think, 1,400%. But now I think everybody is a little disappointed with Apple. Amazon, Google, Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, all these stocks are doing great, and they are growing. Not only the small cap, but the large cap and mega cap stocks are going parabolic. It's a good market. I was listening to actually Tom Lee recently, and he was saying this is the most hated V-shaped recovery market. And somebody asked me a question. So do you think that if these large investors or large institutions hate this V-shaped recovery, they're not invested into it, and this whole market is running off of retailers? I highly doubt that. I don't think retailers can make such a big dent in the stock market. Investors are invested, but they were waiting on the sideline to be fully invested into the market. But I guess the recovery was so quick and it was so sharp that they feel like they have missed out. But it's still not too late. They can still get in. And it's actually better sometimes to buy high and sell higher versus buy low and sell high, because sometimes when you buy low, market goes even lower, and then you have to average, dollar cost average, and then it goes even lower, and then you dollar cost average. So it's better for the market to just recover a little bit, and then you buy high and then sell higher. Sometimes you make more money by doing that than buying at the low price that you think maybe the lowest, but then it drops even more. So it's still not too late, but that's what the view of Tom Lee is. I don't know what his source is to make that statement, but he's very well respected and very well-trusted individual in the stock market, and I'm sure he has done his research, and that's why he made this statement. So if it's the most hated V-shaped recovery, that tells you something, that this market is just on the rocket ship right now, and this is gonna go places where you can't even imagine. So just have to be very wise and very careful. Once this tariff drama is over, Trump is obviously saying that he's going to impose tariffs on August 1st, but he's been doing it. People saying that he's going to tackle again. Trump always chicken out, that he just keeps pushing it off, keep pushing the can down the road. And then finally it'll be time for the midterm, and then finally his term will be over. But I've noticed that whenever Republicans are in power, stock market always rally. Last time in 2021 during COVID and all that time, market was rallying crazy just like this. It was Trump era. This is Trump 2.0 era. The cryptocurrency, the market is just going parabolic. Very good time to invest. If you haven't invested already, you can nibble in now and you can still make lots of money, because market has much higher potential to go even now. Even if you think that you've already missed the boat, you have not. There's so many other choices that you can get into. For example, Tesla fell from its high of $480. Even if you bought Tesla today, even if it's 500, you still make lots of money on Tesla. So anyways, Tesla has some news, Uber has some news, Palantir, Nvidia, Meta, all of them are doing it. They're all going to go higher. Small caps are going parabolic every day. There are like so many tickers that I can't even keep up with them. They run 300, 400, 700, 900% within one day. And it's just so hard to keep up with this. So it's a good time it's a bull market. It's a good time to make money. I think economy is much stronger. Only if the Fed was to cut rate, it will make it even better, but he's just not ready to do it right now. And if Trump, whatever he's saying, if he does that he replaces Jerome Powell with somebody else as a Fed chair, then I think they are going to cut rate and the market is going to fly higher and higher. So that's my update on stock market, on economy, on Trump. I hope you like this video. Please give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Until next one, take care and goodbye.